When you think about the world's most dangerous insects, certain names probably come to mind. The mosquito, because of disease transmission. The wasp, because of its unprovoked aggression. Maybe the hornet, because of the stories we've all heard. But the insects that genuinely kill the most people and inflict the most severe injuries often go unrecognized by the general public. And among the ants, there exists a hierarchy of danger that most people never consider. Some are dangerous because their venom is so potent it rivals the toxicity of snake venom. Others are dangerous because they are incredibly aggressive and distributed across the globe. And some are dangerous not because of individual lethality, but because of how they coordinate as collective organisms, with millions of individuals acting in perfect synchronization. Today, we are ranking the 7 deadliest ants on Earth. And we are not ranking them just by venom potency. We are ranking them by a combination of how dangerous their venom is, how aggressive they are, how widely distributed they are, and how many documented deaths they have caused. Starting at the bottom of our list, but far from being harmless, is an insect with venom, so potent it makes most other insects look ineffective. The Maricopa harvester ant produces venom with an alkaloid content so high that it is considered the most toxic insect venom in North America relative to body weight. In laboratory tests, the venom from a single ant is capable of killing a mouse, and the lethal dose for a human is estimated to be around 2,000 stings, an astronomical number that would be physically difficult to achieve. The pain from even a few stings is extraordinary, rated as intense and burning. But here is why the Maricopa harvester ant does not rank higher on our list, despite having the most potent venom. They rarely sting humans. These ants are not aggressive toward people. They forage individually, they are relatively slow, and they are found only in Arizona and the Southwest United States. They are a threat only if you are unlucky enough to step directly on one or crush one against your skin. The combination of extreme venom and low aggression toward humans means that deaths from Maricopa harvester ants are extraordinarily rare, making them dangerous in theory, but not in practice for most people. Moving up the list brings us to an insect that has achieved almost mythical status in the scientific community, the bullet ant. Found throughout Central and South America, the bullet ant's sting is so painful that it is rated 4 on the Schmidt Pain Index, the maximum possible rating on that scale. The sting has been compared to being shot, which is how it got its name, and victims report hours of intense pain, muscle weakness, and temporary paralysis. What makes the bullet ant particularly noteworthy is that, unlike the Maricopa harvester ant, it is somewhat more aggressive and more likely to sting humans who disturb its territory. The venom contains alkaloid compounds that target the nervous system directly, creating that extreme pain response. However, documented deaths from bullet ant stings are virtually non-existent in modern times, partly because bullet ant stings, while unbearably painful, do not deliver enough venom to be systemically lethal in most cases. The bullet ant is dangerous in a different way than the Maricopa harvester. It is more likely to sting you, but the consequences are pain rather than death. The venom is nearly as potent, but volume and systemic effect put it below other ants on this list. But if you increase the geographic range and the likelihood of human contact, the danger profile changes dramatically. Enter the fire ants, an insect that has managed to spread from South America to North America, Asia, and beyond, establishing itself wherever climate permits. Fire ants are aggressive toward intruders. They form massive colonies that grow quickly, and they will sting repeatedly. A single fire ant sting causes localized pain and a pustule. But when a fire ant colony is threatened, hundreds or thousands of ants attack simultaneously, delivering venom in massive, coordinated waves. This combination of global distribution, aggressive behavior, and the ability to deliver multiple stings has resulted in documented deaths from fire ant attacks. particularly among people with severe allergic reactions and among elderly or vulnerable populations. Fire ants have caused more confirmed deaths than either the Maricopa harvester ant or the bullet ant, simply because there are far more opportunities for human-fire ant contact. They are not the most venomous, and they are not individually the most aggressive, but their global spread and sheer prevalence makes them more dangerous in aggregate than species with more potent individual stings. Yet, there are ants even more dangerous than fire ants, and understanding why requires looking at both venom and behavior in different contexts. Consider the bulldog ant, an Australian species that matches the bullet ant in venom potency, but with one significant difference: it actually has a documented history of human deaths, even if those deaths are rare and mostly historical. The bulldog ant's venom is neurotoxic and extreme, but what pushes it higher than the fire ant on our list is the combination of high potency, a decent likelihood of stinging humans who encounter it, and the fact that Australia's isolated ecosystem and endemic species mean that bulldog ants are a significant concern for Australians specifically. In a regional context, the bulldog ant is more dangerous than the globally distributed fire ant, which is why it ranks higher despite causing fewer documented deaths overall. This is where geographic context matters. Global deaths do not tell the whole story if a particular region faces disproportionate danger from a specific species. But consider what happens when you combine extreme aggression with decent venom potency and add the element of unpredictability. The jackjumper ant, also found in Australia, exhibits behavior that sets it apart from most other species. Jackjumpers are called that because they are capable of jumping, and they use this mobility aggressively. When threatened, they do not passively sting. They actively attack, jumping at threats and stinging multiple times. The venom is not quite as potent as the bullet ant or the bulldog ant, but the willingness to attack and the ability to deliver multiple stings quickly makes jackjumper ants particularly dangerous in their native range. There are documented deaths from jackjumper ant stings, including cases of anaphylactic shock, and people in Australia are significantly more likely to encounter and be attacked by jackjumper ants than by bulldog ants. The combination of aggression, multiple stings, and genuine lethality potential pushes jackjumper ants higher on our ranking, despite their venom being individually less potent than several other species on this list. As we move toward the top of the list, we encounter ants that are dangerous not just because of individual potency, but because of collective behavior at a massive scale. The siafu, also known as the driver ant and found across Africa, represents a completely different category of threat. A single driver ant is not particularly dangerous. The venom is moderate, and the sting is painful but not extreme. When a driver ant swarm encounters prey, there is no escape. They attack from all angles, sting repeatedly, and overwhelm through sheer numbers. A human caught in the path of an active driver ant swarm would face tens of thousands of simultaneous stings, which would result in death from venom accumulation, anaphylactic shock, or shock from the sheer volume of injury. Documented cases of human deaths from driver ants are relatively rare in modern times because people can generally see the swarms coming and escape. Historically, there are accounts of people being killed by driver ant swarms, and in the present day, deaths still occur in regions with limited access to medical care. Driver ants are dangerous not because they are individually the most lethal, but because they represent organized mass death. Millions of individual ants coordinating perfectly to overwhelm any threat they encounter. And yet there is one ant species that surpasses even the driver ant in terms of coordinated threat potential, organizational sophistication, and documented lethality. The weaver ant, found across Africa and Asia, operates with a level of cooperative sophistication that is frankly terrifying when you understand it fully. Weaver ants do not rely on venom for their deadliness. Their venom is actually relatively moderate. Instead, they have evolved to be supremely coordinated hunters and warriors. A single weaver ant colony can contain millions of individuals that work together with military precision. They communicate through touch and pheromones. They coordinate attacks across vast distances within their territory. They use their larvae as tools to produce silk that binds their nests together. And they are capable of mobilizing instantaneously in response to threats. What makes weaver ants particularly dangerous is that they are intelligent in a way that other ants are not. They can change tactics. They can learn. They can identify threats and respond with overwhelming coordinated force. A human encountering an active weaver ant nest would not be dealing with random stings from random ants. They would be dealing with organized military assault from an insect civilization that operates with more coordination than most mammalian predators. Weaver ant attacks have resulted in deaths, particularly in regions where large colonies occupy areas frequented by humans. And perhaps more frightening than individual deaths is the nature of those deaths. People have been killed not by venom, but by the sheer number of stings, the coordinated nature of the attack, and the impossibility of defending yourself when surrounded by millions of insects acting as a single organism. This ranking isn't just about individual potency. It's about recognizing that danger comes in multiple forms. The Maricopa harvester ant proves that venom potency alone does not make something dangerous to humans. The bullet ant shows that pain, however extreme, does not necessarily kill. The fire ant demonstrates that global distribution and aggression matter more than ultimate potency. The bulldog ant illustrates that regional threat level matters in context. The jack jumper ant reveals that aggressive behavior combined with potency creates disproportionate danger. The driver ant shows that collective behavior at scale can overcome individual limitations. And the weaver ant stands at the top because it combines everything: moderate to high venom, extreme aggression, global distribution potential, massive numbers, and unprecedented levels of coordinated intelligence. The deadliest ant on Earth is not the one with the most potent venom. It is the one that can organize millions of individuals into a coordinated force that functions like a single superintelligence. It is the ant that does not just sting you, it overwhelms you. It is the ant that does not give up, does not retreat, and does not stop until its collective goal is achieved. The reason this ranking matters is that it forces us to think about danger differently. We are obsessed with superlatives: the strongest, the fastest, the most venomous. But real danger often comes from combinations of factors that create systemic threats rather than individual ones. The world's most dangerous ant is not necessarily the one that will hurt you the worst if you encounter it alone. It is the one that is most likely to kill you, given all the variables in the real world.